Indiana Jones.
Archimedes died. I've been looking for this all my life. You stole it.
Then you stole it.
And then I stole it.
This Friday, this is gold. Ancient gold. His final adventure
What's that?
will be his greatest.
Come on!
This is it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Hello, welcome back to Almost Cult Classics, the podcast, a very special edition, because after months of teasing, we, minutes ago, just got out of the theater seeing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and we have a lot to talk about. This is going to be spoilers right from the gate.
Spoiler heavy.
There is
Turn it off now.
There's going to be no, like, hey, no, we're going to get right into it, because you can't really discuss this movie otherwise, and
it's... We're,
yeah, I know.
I'd say don't. If you haven't seen the movie, do not listen to this.
Yeah, don't listen to this.
I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Yeah, I know, but that was it. That's the only warning you get, everyone.
That's it. After
right.
that, that said too, I would go in fresh.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of guy, spoilers don't always necessarily ruin a movie for me. This, I think you'd want to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
but,
and so we left. We haven't talked about Separate Cars.
No,
Here we are.
Look where we are. We're in your...
It was a very nostalgic evening.
You were a boy. I was a boy growing up with Indiana Jones, our hero.
So, Ryan, what did you think of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
Well, there were two predictions made.
That's right.
You predicted poorly.
Yeah.
I predicted wisely.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It's not a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the worst movie you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I spent the past 2 days watching the previous 4 films. I think it fits in.
Okay.
I'm shocked to say this. Folks, you guys know I love being angry. I love being, I'm a hater.
Yeah.
I love it. And I hate Disney and I hate all the corporate movie bullshit.
Yeah.
I was prepared to savage this film.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I can.
I had a feeling. I'm sitting next to you. I'm like, this guy, did he scoff? Did I hear a scoff? I'm already my pitch is too high. I gotta calm down.
So I saw Crystal Skull when it came out 5 times. Mm-hmm. I saw it at midnight, and I saw it the next day. I think even I kept seeing that movie all summer, and I look at this. I'm like, could I go see that? You know, take away 5 times. Could I see it again? I don't even know if I could see this movie again in the theaters, because it is a dour, at times very mopey. That was the shocking thing to me. Is that all the predictions that people were like worrying about, that this was going to be like a Fleabag was going to take over the franchise? It wasn't that. But what I realized as soon as the movie started and just the way he was moving, it hit me like, and I even said to you, dude, he's really fucking old. Like, at which point, he can barely move. I hate to say it, but there's a few scenes where like he's just kind of wobbling.
Very stiff.
And did you notice all the deep fake, not even the young stuff, which we'll talk about, but there were a lot of his face just on like stunt doubles projected on there. In particular, the horse thing, a lot of scenes with that. I think and they probably lucked out that way. There's a whole scene where they're scuba diving and they have these big masks on. It's 100% just his face. And that was the only part they lucked out on, because you've got all these layers. Dude, there was a lot of stuff in there just because he can't even do the whip. I think that scene when he was kind of back in the shadows, I don't think it was him. And, to his credit, when he does, he's great in it. It's a lot of fun to see fucking Harrison Ford back. He's Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's iconic.
Well, it's indie, too.
It's indie.
Yeah.
And it's just, he does take a more reserved kind of spot in this film than I would have liked, but I don't think it's because they were like, here, let's give the franchise to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It's because he just is too old to carry this movie and the action, and I think in that regard, I think they did it well. With what they had to work with, which is an 80-year-old man, 79, however old he was when they filmed, I think it was good in that regard.
Well, there's 2 critiques I'll make in regard to what you're saying, and that's it's one of the issues why, people our age really despise the boomers, is because they just won't die. And like, not only that, it's like they can't let go. It's not dying. It's like, let go, man. You gotta let go of this shit. Like it's the 60s again. Like it might be the late 60s are the worst time period in history for a billion reasons, but I have really grown, because you can understand, we're growing up. It's like the 60s. Whoa, that's when everything, blah, blah, blah,
Flower
blah,
power.
blah, garbage, bullshit. It's all a lie. So I have no tolerance for that kind of crap. And then it's that thing I've brought up before where it seems like modern movie makers, storytellers, they have an extreme antagonism to their audience. They are not trying to please the audience. They're trying to rub your face in it. And I'm sorry, seeing Indiana Jones passed out with his shitty old man body.
That is a great way to put it, yeah.
I don't, you're rubbing my face in it. And it's like, fuck you.
Also, and we should point out that you and I are not fans of Logan. For me, I'll speak for me. I think that movie is just too depressing and mopey. And a lot of people think that was a brilliant I don't want to, when I go to see a movie of a character like Wolverine, I could take or leave, but like Indiana Jones, you kind of want there to be a little bit more optimism. And the miserable aspects aren't even things that I had a problem with. It was just like you said, like there's so many shots of just like they really.
To me, I almost take it as, remember that strong, beautiful man you knew?
Yeah.
Here he is, a busted mess.
You'll certainly think that in the first 20 minutes of this movie, when you're looking at digitally de-aged Harrison Ford, which I heard, people, it's the best this has ever. It didn't look good.
Oh, really?
You thought it looked good?
Let me put it this way. I don't think he's too hard to de-age. And
no,
here's the other thing too. I just watched all these movies.
Yeah.
So that image is very fresh in my head. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing too. We're gonna be all over the fucking place.
Because we didn't take notes. We're just sitting there watching a movie.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. I'm a big fan of watch a movie twice, read a book twice. Mm-hmm. And also to let things digest.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything like this before. We always prep.
Right.
We think things through. We was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
With that said, where was I going?
Well, we're talking about the digitally de-aging and how that didn't
maybe
quite...
it's just because I was so used to seeing his face the past couple days.
You know what I realized too? My issue with the de-age stuff was that it just looked kind of like there wasn't a lot of like... you couldn't really see a lot of expression in the face. Mm-hmm. But then I'm watching a few... I think they just light these movies terribly now. Because I was noticing that scene when they're in the bar talking, kind of setting up the exposition... It was happening with them then. Like, it just... I don't know if it was just
This is exactly... CGI... It will kill the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
It will kill
it. Already has.
I mean, it's the worst part of Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
It's not aged well.
Did you watch that video I made?
It was good. It's great.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't agree with everything, but I thought it was really well done.
I mean, and that was
the Splash Mountain thing was fucking excellent. Thanks. That was really funny. That caught me off guard.
Like you, I watched the 4 films.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing about the first 3 is that just how much thought and energy went into creating the action, and it's just a lost art form. Me and you sit here and we bemoan that these movies look too, the CGI's ruining. We're never going to get it. I don't think it's ever going to come back to where we're relying on practical effects. But you look at something like... Okay, whatever. It's neither here nor there. I was going to disagree with you, but whatever. Again, I can sit here and go, I wish they would have used like practical... It's just the artisans aren't there anymore. Mm-hmm. The people that were doing it aren't there anymore. So whatever. You just have to kind of expect that there's going to be movies where there's going to be excessive amounts of CGI, especially if it's an action movie like this.
Okay, that's what it was. But to what you're saying, how like the lighting looks all fucked up and their faces look weird and shit... Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's like CGI is not going away.
Right.
And it is a tool, and it can be used. I'm not going to fucking jump down your throat for using CGI. But they're doing it they're building city streets.
Yeah, it was everything.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't shut down a fucking New York block for a day. Like, that's a fake street.
Yeah, there's
you
a few
can tell,
scenes where the
dude,
background
a few
was just,
scenes. I feel like every background was fake. And it looks like they're on stages. And it just looks weird.
It did. And again, I'm taking it from...
Listen, and I like the movie.
I understand where, because you have fucking insurance involved in these things. There's no way they're going to let Harrison Ford jump around and do these things. I get that.
The fucking stunt man.
I get it. But it was just... The action didn't feel interesting. It didn't feel like there were any stakes.
Oh, I could have... It's not that I wasn't watching, but I'm just like, none of this is registering. I'm just waiting. You shouldn't be waiting for an action scene to end.
Yeah.
Because you want to know where the plot's going.
Yeah.
You should be enjoying the action scenes.
Yeah.
When fucking Indiana Jones is after that truck and Raiders, and he's getting dragged and shit, that's amazing. I don't want that to end.
Yeah, the same thing with the tank in Last Crusade. And
all of it.
I'll even say there's some Crystal Skull. Like that motorcycle chase, I always come back.
It's all right, but that's CGI'd out the ass too.
No, it's not. Not that much.
Okay.
Anyway, and then, you know what? The more I think about it, dude, I think I ranked this film 5th. I think Crystal Skull is better than this movie.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
You don't think so? I know you're. I don't like to list and rank things, but I think that
Last Crusade's so fucking good.
it's great.
I think it's the best fan service thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say Temple of Doom's my favorite, but I accept that Last Crusade is the best sequel. You know, you have Raiders, which is on its own plane. You can't, but as far as
the best one,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah, so you don't even include it in your. But if I'm, my personal favorite is Temple of Doom, but I love Last Crusade because it's also.
Temple of Doom's a mess.
Oh, I don't think so at all.
It's a total mess. Like you were pointing it out in that video you made. I know it must have just been cut down to pieces.
Oh, it was, yeah.
It's good, dude. Come on. I love these movies.
There was more like homaging to Temple of Doom in Dial of Destiny than I expected. Mm-hmm. He mentions the events, talking about the voodoo and the drinking from the blood of Kali, and then they're dynamic. They have this kid Teddy, and then Helena. It's kind of like a short round, the three of them kind of. And that's one thing I do like about this movie. I think Crystal Skull, it just has too many characters coming in and out and doing things. This, it was relatively contained with those three.
I forgot I was watching Crystal Skull last night, and that ending where he's like, "Get up, Mac! You got to use your legs. I can't do it all."
Dude, it's so it's.
I'm going to be all right,
And
Jonesy.
he winks and lets us like, "What are you doing?"
Just all he had to do was get up.
Yeah.
Just stand up.
Can we talk about how this movie intentionally destroys everything that movie set up?
Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
Why? How?
Mutt's been killed.
Oh, Poochie had to go back to his home planet.
Which I didn't have a problem with. Can I tell you how I thought it was going to end? I thought Mutt was going to walk in, right, in the apartment with Marion, and Helena was going to go, "We made a stop along the way. You said you wanted to save your son. We made a little stop along the way."
Dude, God bless them for not doing that. They didn't, we'll get into it. They didn't fuck with time too much.
No.
It was appropriate, I thought. How it...
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
I tried not to let you read me during the movie, but when... from my predictions, I knew something crazy was coming. And when you see the Roman warships, I was just like, oh, no.
I had absolutely zero issue with that.
Yeah, it's not as... It doesn't feel as strange as the aliens in Crystal Skull.
I didn't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it either.
Dude, like I
think they look like shit in that movie.
If you watch these movies back to back, the alien does look dumb at the end. Yeah. And he does that, he gets up and...
It's terrible.
He a scary face. What the fuck was that?
He squints at her.
Oh, it's horrible. These movies are preposterous.
Oh, yeah.
They're, beyond... out of the suspending your disbelief.
Yeah, that's never a critique I've gotten with the series. I've never understood that.
I'm telling you, watch them all the way through. It's from the jump. These things are fucking out of control.
Absolutely.
So have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Let it go.
Absolutely.
That's why I had no problem with the aliens or the interdimensional beings.
Interdimensional beings, please. But with the, I don't even know the name of the Archimedes dial here, it was just like seeing a blubbery, Indiana Jones was just not something I really enjoyed. I don't know. And I really thought they were going to leave him there. I thought he was going to stay.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the end.
We've jumped to the end. You want to start at the beginning?
I don't even... Is that what you want to do? Do you want to go as far as we remember?
Yeah, I think I can remember pieces together fairly well.
So the movie, I believe it's 39, I want to say, which is a period we've never seen before because Last Crusade is... 39. It's when the war is wrapping up. So when is that? 45, 44?
Something around there.
Okay.
So.
And they're on a train. They're tying back into this thing.
Just,
all right.
Just stop.
I'm too frazzled.
One thing with Crystal Skull, they hinted at, which I thought was awesome. After he gets out of the nuke, which I love.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah, I love the nuke.
India enters the atomic age.
I love that.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Another thing, too, I'm not going to knock Mangold too much. James Mangold. He did a serviceable job. He didn't disgrace himself with the film. That said, Spielberg just should have fucking done it.
Yeah. Did you notice, too, again, we're at the end, but there were a lot of screenwriters. There were more credited screenwriters than I originally thought. Whatever,
These things go. How many drafts did fucking Crystal Skull go through?
Tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called, though? So he's out of there, and the guys are interrogating him, CIA guys, and the general walks in, and he goes, Colonel Jones. I was like, Colonel?
Yeah.
And then it's then he finds out
how many medals this son of a bitch won.
Yeah, and then and then he's doing OSS missions with Mac in Europe. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, do that.
Yeah.
Well, I swear to God, they must have read my mind because this movie opens up on him on a spy mission, essentially.
Really interesting.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He gets caught. He was impersonating an SS officer, and they bring him into this castle.
It's great to see Indy in the heat of World War II.
It's fantastic.
We hadn't seen that before. You know,
running ops.
Yeah,
like he's
exactly.
doing a mission.
It's really interesting.
He's not there to. Well, he is there to get something.
Yeah.
What was it? I forget. Oh, the Lance of Longinus.
Yeah.
Which for years people have been going. Why doesn't Indy search for the Lance of Longinus?
Spear of that.
Well, because Spear of Destiny, whatever you want to call it. I've always thought he's best with the biblical stuff. It's entrenched kind of in our society.
Judeo-Christian.
If that's how you want to refer to it,
Yeah.
sure. I
See, I always
it
thought,
hits harder.
yeah, but
And it's just more interesting to me.
You have 5 movies now, and only 2 of them deal with that. So at a certain point, you have to
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
realistically, as far as the main MacGuffin, it's only.
And what are the 2 best movies?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't think Indiana Jones is exclusive to those type of artifacts.
You know what's great about these movies? Especially 1 and 3. They're like Christian movies.
I think they're more like
Christ, God and Christ are real. These movies establish that as fact. I think once again, it's bold. I think it's bold.
And I think a big part of those movies is that human understanding of those things is not what it is. You know what I mean? I think humans have a misunderstanding on these concepts because they're almost ultimately like.
I don't know. The Grail was the Christ's cup.
Yeah, for sure. But like, look at the Ark. Like that, they didn't think that was going to happen when they opened it up. Like,
yeah, but that's what the Ark did.
yeah, which I don't even quite understand why that happens.
I think they just weren't worthy.
Yeah,
essentially. But
I
do you know
guess.
the story of the Ark?
Yeah,
Okay.
I went to Catholic school. You know,
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know.
I again very.
It did that though. It shot lightning
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
But coming back to the Dial of Destiny, I like that. I like that you have the Nazis who are trying to get these artifacts. The Fuhrer is still trying to stay in power, which ties back into Crusade and Raiders. And it's a great little thing. You have all these Nazis running around. I thought that part was cool. The castle stuff. And
I liked the intro.
Yeah.
I really liked the intro. I excused the
CGI Harrison
CG
Ford jumping on the train.
Oh, when he's running. Wow.
Yeah,
And
really,
that's when and that's
really,
early, and you're like, "Fuck, this CG."
I was really worried then.
Is not going to. Can they go on strike? The FX people,
Great.
can you please
They really
strike?
should.
The writers should strike. They should strike, and then let computers make. I don't even care at this point.
Do AI.
Well, why
Would have
not?
been better.
Or here you go. Here's a thought. Pay me. I'll work for cheap. I've been thinking about this recently. I would love one actor, director, anyone who's successful to almost take a vow of poverty. Put your shit back. Like, what if, say you're Spielberg, right? I know they've all tried this, but you make a ton of money, right? You finance a studio, then you start making more movies. You already made your money.
Yeah.
You're already rich. How much more fucking money do you need?
Coppola thing. I mean, he was trying to do that for a long time, and
You just put the money back into the studio, and
Right.
I would work for $40,000 a year. I don't need money.
Well-
I'm already poor. I just want to create. Anywho,
so they're on this.
CGI was horrible in that, and not only that, like I said,
It's old man voice coming out of his young face too, which is a problem.
they should have kind of tinkered with that a little.
There's definitely a way they can do that.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's just like I thought Toby Jones was fun.
He's fine. I never mind him. They kind of underused a lot of their supporting cast. Yeah.
I will say this. Speaking of mangled and things that I give him credit for, people just getting shot in this movie. I kind of was like, whoa, it kind of like, and I'm talking about like henchmen, that type of thing. No, the Indy's co-workers, this woman and this poor guy who just happened to be in the office just gets shot at point blank range. And then Antonio Banderas,
he gets shot.
gets killed.
The black CIA girl.
Yeah, I
missed her name.
I kind of liked that character
I
though.
thought they were going to make her a villain. I was just like, once again, bold. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Make the black woman a villain.
What'd you think of?
No one would do that.
Because you're a big Mads fan.
Oh, he's the best, dude.
Yeah.
I fucking love
I thought
him.
he was one of the best parts of the
Him
movie.
and his henchmen, and the one who's not German.
Yeah.
The giant German
Texas guy.
was excellent. He is the part of Logan I like. He's a bad
is
guy
he?
in
Who's he,
Logan.
Logan?
I forget, it's Boyd something, that guy's name.
Holbrook. Yeah.
I love that fucking
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Can I say this? It's like Indiana Jones movies. You have like the big baddie and then like the muscle, and there's usually relatively fun demises for both. You don't really get. I was really hoping that big hulking guy. We were going to see that guy get sucked into a fucking jet engine or something. Like he just kind of gets chained underwater by the kid.
There's no good deaths.
No good deaths, and that's you get your Voller and the Texan.
Can we just call him Schmidt?
Schmidt?
Okay, so I missed his name. I
Schmidt.
couldn't
It's
hear
Voller.
it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
And Schmidt. Schmidt and the Texan guy, they just their plane crashes, and we see their charred bodies.
They just crash.
I would have liked there to be, again, in my prediction, which was that they were going to travel back to prehistoric times, and Mads was going to get eaten by a dinosaur, which I think would have been more exciting.
Oh, that would have been bad. This was so much better.
Yeah.
So anywho, this is the big problem. It's actually a pretty good scene. They're on the train, leaving with all the plunder. They're trying to get the Lance back to Berlin for Der Fuhrer. Indy realizes of course it's Indiana Jones. He gets on the fucking train. That's another thing too. Watching all the movies back to back, he just is he leaves the trail of destruction. He leaves anytime they're like, all right, he's tied up. The absolute madness unleashed when they think they've got him. I love it. It's fucking great.
I love how in Last Crusade, when it's just Henry Jones Sr., he's tapping his foot on the carpet, and the flame just explodes out of the lighter all over the place. Like it's laced with gasoline. The whole room is just...
It's excellent.
Yeah. You divorce these notions of, logic in the action.
Well, you know why? You can... The room they're in is real. The fire is real.
Yep.
The chair they're on is real. They probably CGI'd fucking chairs in this movie. So, again, as cool as this night train, as this assault is happening from the Allied forces trying to stop this train, and he's rushing and blah, blah, blah. It's a train. He's trying to get to the front.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. It's good, but you're almost not seeing anything. Nothing's really there.
Yeah, you're just watching someone made this on a digital, on a computer screen.
And it's just not compelling.
Yeah.
All the best parts of this movie were them talking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I was like, ooh, what's next? I'm
agree.
curious.
I agree. I thought that the action was the weakest part, excluding the... I shouldn't even say that. The car chase, what do you call them? Tuk-tuk? What are those things that... The little Moroccan
carts.
cabs?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't great. There was a couple
Talk about no stakes.
But it was also kind of weird how they just kept finding them driving in their car. I don't know, a little...
Well, he knew Tangiers. So anywho, they in the process of now they just got to get off the fucking train.
Right.
They're like, fuck, the Lance is wrong. But his little buddy Basil. Toby Jones, he had been captured. He was on the train.
Basil Fawlty.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
The Germans! The Germans! Anyhow, so he overhears the Mads character, Mads Mikkelsen, talking about how, I have this other thing the Fuhrer might like, because they realize it's a fake too.
Yeah.
And it's the half of the Dial of Destiny, which I'm already forgetting.
It's a complicated name, and I'm not going to...
It's Greek,
It begins with an A. It's all... Let's just call it the
Ocarina.
dial.
Yeah,
the
dial.
Ocarina of Destiny.
It's got two parts, though.
Yeah.
You cocks. Anyhow, so they have the one part.
The Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We must secure the existence of the Vanno white race. Anyway. So they realize that through, fighting and tussling.
Yeah.
Indy and Basil get the half of the dial, get up on top of the train. They're escaping. Mads is chasing them. Blah, 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 blah. Mads gets knocked off the train.
Yeah, he doesn't give it to Mads at that point. I thought he hands it to him.
He throws something to him.
Okay.
But it was a
wasn't
decoy
that.
of
Okay.
some sort.
Okay.
That's the classic. Indy always has a card up
Yeah.
his sleeve, so whatever. They get off the train, and it's like, all right. Hey.
Very audible. We relatively full theater, but you had that audible ooh when Schmidt gets hit with the pole on the train and gets knocked off.
Yeah, he gets whacked. It's which should have killed him.
Right.
I mean, it's brutal. Which they just hand wave
But
at
again,
him.
the more you're talking about this OSS Indy, it's kind of like, they say Crystal Skull, they want it to be reminiscent of the 50s B movies. I would have loved if this movie was reminiscent of the 60s spy James Bond type stuff. That.
I just got hard. Beautiful.
Yes. I mean, again, you couldn't do it in the same way, but that's where I thought they were going a little bit with it, and I was kind of interested. Mm-hmm. And then...
We flash forward after they escape the train.
Yeah.
And it's Indy in I guess it's New York.
It's New York. He's in a little apartment.
He's passed out.
Drinking.
And what is it?
Magical Mystery Tour.
Wakes him up from his shitty fucking hippie neighbors.
And I will say this. This might have been something we mentioned it. I was really into it then. When the movie started this, I wanted to see him broken and old. Not in the sense where they make him depressed, but I have always said that I don't think the marriage at the end of Crystal Skull was a good ending for that character. And I like the fact that they were willing to say it didn't work out, even though this movie ends with the way that But I like the fact that we see him in this completely new place, New York City, 1969. The space race is happening. Really interesting time period to be in.
And, it's bears saying what kind of broke them up is Mutt dies in, I guess, Vietnam?
That would have
had Korea. Korea was like 59.
When was Vietnam, though?
That's what I'm saying. The moon landing had happened. So was the moon landing going on when Vietnam was going on? I think it was. Anywho, I wanted to touch on Shia LaBeouf real quick. I'm no great fan of him. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. But you have to remember, when Crystal Skull was coming out, he had not done all his... And I fully support actors being crazy.
I do too. Sorry, by the way, 55 to 75 were the full range of the Vietnam War, so it's realistic that he would have gotten...
What was Tonkin?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. It's not important.
Anyway.
If that's what we want to say, fine. But... Yeah, he hadn't done any of his crazy shit yet, but you gotta... he was a child actor. So he was
Even Stevens was a huge...
He was a goofy kid. I never watched it, but people seemed to like it. It was not in my age. I whatever. But then I think he did Holes.
Holes was great.
Still, but
and then he got Transformers. He kind of got...
Transformers. His biggest fucking problem was Spielberg. Spielberg was selling him.
Yeah.
I think people forget this. He literally was saying, this kid's the next Brando.
Yeah.
Now, Shia LaBeouf might be a good actor. He ain't Brando.
No.
He don't have the presence. I won't even say range, because Brando probably doesn't have a ton of range. Although, I got to watch some Brandos.
That's right. We're next episode.
Yeah. The Freshman.
Freshman, yeah.
I've tricked myself now. Saying whatever. It doesn't matter. I fuck up the title. Anywho, this is going to be a rambling episode.
Shia was Spielberg's kind of...
Dude, he was pushing him so hard. And then he literally dresses him up as the wild one. Yeah. And it's laughable. It's laughable. And I have to say this too. I just watched it again. I haven't seen it in years. Last night, Crystal Skull. He's fine in the movie.
He is fine in the movie.
He's fine.
Yeah, I defend him.
Barring monkey swinging, he's totally fine.
That's not him. That's not the performance. That's just some goofy shit they put in the script. That scene, I even said it in my video, he just gets sucked up into a vine, and everyone in the car just keeps going, and they look up at him like...
Weren't they being chased?
No, they were following them.
Okay, then... Oh, dude, you're totally right. You stop and get him.
Get him. That's what I can't understand that movie, is why they're...
Something with Spielberg and Lucas... Look, they're good at what they do. They're obviously very talented.
They could not agree on that movie at all.
That is funny. But someone needs to, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Someone should have said, fellas, get it together.
Swinging CGI. Why did we need the prairie dogs? 3 separate shots of the CGI prairie dogs.
Did you see that? How many in that behind the scenes? So I did. That's how much, the effort that went into them figuring out how to animate this prairie dog. Just fucking get one to come out of a hole.
It doesn't even look good.
No.
Or here's another thought. Don't do it.
Dude.
If you can't do it, don't do it. Dude, I'm watching Dial of Destiny, and I'm just going, that's a computer. That's not real. That's not... And this is sometimes 90% of the screen for shit.
They bred 2,000 rats. Bred them for Last Crusade.
But dude, I'm sitting there thinking, you could have done this without CGI.
Yeah, easily.
Dude, so much of that movie could be done without CGI. Yeah. The Siege of Syracuse, maybe not so much. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to use CGI. You can't build all those Roman boats.
I agree.
It's too expensive.
That
said, a horse race down a Manhattan street?
Yeah.
Shut the fucking street down.
Yeah, I agree. And
please go on strike, VFX workers. Please.
They should. So we are in 1969, and we find India. His son has been killed, and the marriage broke up as a result, and he is on the eve of his retirement from Hunter College. Mm-hmm. And this is when Helena Shaw shows up, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I didn't have a problem with. I didn't think it was a great character.
No.
It was not nearly as awful as it could have been.
My misogyny will remain checked for this episode. She did not ruin the film.
No.
She's no Willie Scott.
No. I don't think Willie Scott ruins that film, but...
She's annoying. Dude, that movie is childish.
Oh, stop it.
It's a corny...
Stop
it. That's the most childish of the original 3. Oh, here's another point I want to make. Those movies were made 8 years apart, the first 3?
81 to 89, I believe.
And I've talked about this before. It's easy to break shit up in decades, but look at the movies of the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. They look different. Mm-hmm. All those movies look the same.
They look great.
They look consistent.
Same cinematographer. There was so many similar teams and elements, and
they simply waited too long to make Crystal Skull. It it can't be helped.
It doesn't look good.
Some of it looks good, but
There's a couple parts
It
in
just
that.
looks different. It
Yeah.
looks plastic.
Yeah.
It has a sheen.
Yeah.
Everything has a sheen.
As soon as they get to that jungle, that's when that movie
Dude, the movie's pretty.
I agree.
You're like, okay.
I agree. There's a
I'm
couple moments
into it.
that are wonky, like when he throws the shotgun pellets in the air and they magnetically are drawn. That's a little stupid. But I think that whole escape scene, I think the motorcycle stuff, the nuclear bomb stuff, I just love it.
I love the opening.
You know,
at Area 51.
Really,
come on.
George Lucas was really pushing for that movie to be just pure atomic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Indy was working in the desert. There was
Love
the
it.
Atomic Cafe. So you read some of those early scripts, and they're really fucking great. Honestly, I think Spielberg coming in and trying to get him to make it more jungle-y and tie it into the ancient civilizations, that's what fucked that movie up.
You're probably right.
I kind of like the idea of it just being this New Mexico desert. It's Indiana Jones, the atomic age. There's ray gun. Like, go fucking nuts with it. And that's what, like, I kind of wish this movie would did with that 60 spy thing. They touch on it, but there's not much.
I also, I talk about this all the time. Funny. Time shit is either
You
it's
do
rarely
bemoan
pulled
that
off
a lot.
well, and obviously multiverse.
Yeah.
We'll be dealing with that for probably the next half
I was
decade.
really surprised that the movie didn't end with Helena going back to the present and Tom Selleck showed up as Indy.
Thank God those leaks were totally wrong.
As I knew they would be.
I think most people. I mean, it was so.
Yeah. Listen, now there were set images leaked with Roman worship, so there was at least one real one. They did that
believe
set
it.
image was leaked, and a lot of people thought there was going to be. I thought it was going to be a prologue that set up how this dial came to be.
Sure.
But then we saw leaked photos with Harrison Ford with the dots on his face, so you kind of start to think, okay, they're going to do something. But yeah, the leaks saying that. Yeah, it was going to be young Indy team with old Indy and Helena, and they were going to I hate that.
Can I ask you Crystal Skull question real quick?
Yeah.
I watched your video and then I watched the movie and I'm like, what am I missing here? The Soviets, which thank God they moved on, because the Soviets are shitty too.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah.
So great. And Kate Blanchett's fantastic.
She's great, yeah.
I love a great villain.
Yeah.
She's really good.
I like her
and it's
second in command too.
Yeah, he's good. But
Yeah.
it's stupid too because she's like, I am psychic. It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
That scene in
though.
this tent when he's looking at the skull and he's like his head shaking. It's like
So that's what I wanted to ask you. He gets the skull.
Mm-hmm.
They have an alien. Not only that, they've had 2 crashes in the Soviet Union.
those are different aliens. They even say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they didn't have, because they opened
Yeah.
the head cavity, and I'm do they have a skull?
The one in that they take from the Area 51. That's the Roswell. She even says
Not a
it,
crystal skull
a
alien.
distant cousin. She says, "Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, I missed that.
They're different. They're interdimensional, extraterrestrial.
Understood.
Two different. No, so I said, Stephen, we'll make them extraterrestrial, interdimensional. Dude, he's literally rubbing his temples and going, fine.
Oh, boy.
But someone had to, in that movie, that's why I kind of like the fact that they all were just like, all right, we're done with this, because they couldn't agree on Crystal Skull, so it becomes a hodgepodge of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I respect them for this to be like, you know what, we're all kind of done with it. If they want to make another, if Harrison wants to do another chapter, let them do it, but...
they were producers, right?
They're producers, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, Helena shows up.
She's in his class,
his
like answering
goddaughter.
questions,
Yeah.
because now all his students,
I
his
like that
students
bit.
are bored now.
I like that bit.
Yeah.
That was great.
Okay.
And then, her motivations are purely financial. It seems, at least at the start, she's just trying to auction this thing off at a rare artifact thing.
Which, in a sense, you get to that, because technically Temple of Doom is the first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's an interesting reflection of, like, it's kind of where Indy was at the time.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't It Belongs in a Museum yet.
No,
It was
yeah.
Fortune and Glory
Yeah.
Indy. So,
I like
okay,
that.
cool. And then by the end, she, it comes full circle in a sense. But here's the thing, too. She's being trailed, like I said, by, unfortunately forget her name, black CIA lady. What was going on there? Like...
Well,
because they thought Schmidt was on the level.
I think, he worked for NASA.
Okay, so she was just kind of like a handler.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he was a mover, because that did happen. I like when there's real history elements, but you had a lot of...
Oh, Werner von Braun
Yeah,
got us to
exactly.
space. It's not like he didn't.
Yeah, so I like that element. And it's, dude, here's talk about, like, just lazy hack filmmaking. Schmidt says, get me the file of this Dr. Jones she wants to see. And they hand him this file, and he opens it up. And it's a picture of, like, Indiana Jones from that day.
It really is. You're
Like, why would they have that, like... I could if it was like an
You're-
old
that's a
timey
good-
like military photo or something. I'd
That would
agree
make
with you.
so much more
But like
sense.
he hasn't seen this guy in what 3 decades, and he all of a sudden he's like, Dr. Jones, that's him. Get him. It's like,
Also, he should be older. Mads.
yeah, I agree.
He just his hair
I
got
agree.
a little gray.
He was really good though.
He's great.
I am.
I love him.
There was that line where he said,
I could watch him look in the mirror.
"You didn't win the war. Hitler lost it."
Yeah.
Great. Really sets up his motivation. He just wants to go back in time, and I guess he has like a whole little coup of Nazis that are going to kill Hitler. A really interesting idea.
Yeah.
That
Once again, based in reality.
When Indy's like, you're going to kill Ike or like Churchill, what are you going to do? Like when he finds out he's going back in time, the Nazi is going back in time to kill Hitler. Great. Really like that.
Dude, it's like I said.
I know you might talk me around to this.
I was ready to savage this movie.
Yeah.
It's just its biggest problem is, like you said, no stakes action. At least in the beginning, it starts to get a little bit. You know, they start shooting wasted Antonio Banderas and stuff. You know.
Oh, can we? Real
But
quick.
the CGI fucking.
So
it's just a wash in it.
This is really this is kind of like they think Indy like is framed for murder because these two people that work at the college die.
Okay, so all right. So obviously she meets up with Helena, which is just call her Helen. It almost sounds like they're saying duh.
Yeah.
Helena.
Oh, and
It's just annoying when they're yelling like Helena. Just drop the A.
here's another line that was
Nitpicky, but
really great. When he says, "Why are you chasing the thing that drove your father insane?" and she says, "Wouldn't you?" and he gets that look. Again,
it's okay.
I like when they put things in perspective like
Sure.
that.
Yeah, so they're kind of having a little chat at the bar, and she's picking his brain about the dial.
Right.
And
We get flashback number 2. Which takes place like I don't know when that's supposed to be.
Oh, right, when she's a kid,
it's more believable because he's not quite as polished and his voice can match up. I assume it's in between Crystal Skull and this movie. That scene's supposed to be because she said 12 years ago.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know when these. It's been 15 years, but I think they're supposed to be only like 10 years apart. Yeah, whatever.
Fine. But so he's basically like, look, she knows he's got it because Basil told him to destroy it, and he's like, fine, I'll show you, essentially. Yeah. So they go up there and then his little cage of wonders, and he shows them. This is where I had a big problem. So the henchmen arrive now with Black CIA Lady to get the thing or see what he's doing. This is why I'm not quite sure what Black CIA Lady's doing.
It's a good question. Yeah, I think she's...
What is she? Because she keeps going like, no, we're just like, don't shoot him. Like, what are you doing?
I think she's under the impression that this dial is going to help them achieve something because he keeps pitching it that way. Like, we've conquered space, now we're going to conquer what's next. Because there's a certain point when they're on the plane, she's like, we just got off the phone with the boss, whatever, we're killing it. This is done. This is over.
Okay.
So
yeah, they
originally,
got what they wanted out of you.
Yeah, because when fucking Boyd starts mowing people down, she's like, what are you doing? Like, your goons are ruining everything.
But I hated this scene because, Helena escapes to the roof.
Yeah.
And, dude, like, Indy's just kind of standing there. Like, this is where
Dude,
I go.
it's a lot of
this
scenes
is
like
where,
that,
like,
though.
Spielberg, he's good. He's a master at blocking. It's just almost like, I don't feel like I don't see it anymore almost.
Yeah.
But, like, he's just kind of standing on top of this thing,
Yeah.
yelling
Yeah.
Helena out a window. They shoot him.
Yeah, they would. They killed 2 people that were more...
It's a matter of you're not cutting this together where I think the time is unfolding realistically.
That scene in Raiders where it's just exposition. It is the scene when Marcus and the 2 other guys and Indy and the chalkboard, it's just shot so goddamn well that you never lose interest. He's just pouring you information, but it's shot in a way
fascinating.
that never loses interest. The way everything is framed, and you're right. In this, you don't get that, and your exposition is just kind of your standard, 180 degree people back and forth, and and like you said, I think that they wrote this movie. I really do, and then they got Harrison Ford down to it, and it was like this fucking guy is really old. Dude, I swear I thought there was that scene where he's crossing the street with his paper. I thought that wasn't him. I swear, dude, it didn't look right.
I mean, look, like I said, death of cinema.
And
just watch fucking cartoons. Like, seriously, I'm sorry, this shit's terrible.
Isn't it weird that there was never like an 80s Indiana Jones cartoon? It would have been.
When did he... I was such a fan of Indiana Jones. I have not seen 1 second
Of Young Indiana Jones?
When was it on? Was it popular?
I used to just rent. So I don't know if you noticed, but majority of episodes are like 90 minutes long. They're like TV movies. And I used to rent them from Blockbuster. They had them like and they're okay.
Okay, maybe
There's a couple good ones, you know.
it's a show though, right?
Yeah. I mean,
It's just so weird that I
a
never
series of television movies, I would
Fine.
say.
How many are there?
There's a lot.
Wow, that's so weird. Is
Yeah.
he in all of them?
Who?
Harrison Ford?
No, he's just in that one.
Just in the one.
Then there's a one where another guy plays him when he's like really old. And I think that guy is younger than Harrison Ford is now, but he looks like he's 97 and he's
Sure.
an eye patch on. Yeah. So anyway, Helena escapes with the dial. Indy is captured. There's a lot of Indy getting just fucking. I'll give him that. Like they really don't play it up like he's an action hero now. He's an old man that just kind of.
He doesn't fight too much. He does the
No.
punching and
No.
whatnot, but it's nothing too crazy.
He doesn't kill anyone, does he? I don't think he does. He fires a gun that one time, but he doesn't kill anyone.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw a fucking shish kebab through a guy's chest
No, that is so.
in fucking public in the middle of a dining room.
By the way, because I haven't seen that movie in so long, I used to watch these movies on tape. Temple of Doom. There's that one scene where they're in like the bug room,
Yeah.
and like the things coming down the spikes. I rewound this one little snippet so much. I thought it was the funniest thing when I was a kid. It's the face he makes when he goes, "We are going to die."
There's that little frown. They hold on it. Yeah.
I pissed my pants the first time I saw that, and I would fucking I had to kill
Yeah.
the tape
Yeah.
rewinding that. But
You know what's weird watching that movie when I was a kid? I never really understood what was going on, the whole, like, we're going to have sex scene, where it's like, I'm like, what are they waiting for? I don't quite get this. It is, like, kind of pace ruining, that scene.
Yeah.
But the payoff when he comes storming in the room all sweaty, it works.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, dude, why are they, like, both sitting there looking at the door?
Temple of Doom is the funniest one. It's the funniest one.
I would say
dude, there's so many sight gags and pratfalls. By the way, Harrison Ford's a good stumbler. Mm-hmm. He stumbles well.
Yeah.
I like how
Yeah.
he does that. I don't know.
He does it naturally in this because he's legitimately stumbling
I'm gonna
around.
do that when I'm drinking, you son of a bitch. Spit all over the mic.
So, yeah, he somehow is framed for murder.
Well,
because,
he escapes them.
Yeah.
They-
But he calls the police. There's blood on the phone.
Oh, right. So they oh my god.
Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot. I'm retaining a lot from this movie.
Yeah, but they pull him off the phone before he can really do
Yeah.
anything. The cops show up. I guess
Yeah.
they see two dead people. They blame him. He has been captured. He escapes on
Mm-hmm.
a horse
Through the subway.
through the subway, which it's all whatever. It's
There's
fine.
a couple shots of him on that horse.
Okay. Once again, it's kind of stupid because, like I said, it's like just pull him off the horse.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
Yeah.
There's too much of. Oh, hold on a second, everyone. Let take your time. Let Indy get to, and then we'll chase him. There's too much of that shit.
Yeah.
I hate it. Hate that shit. But whatever. He
Scott
escapes.
Evil and Austin Powers. I have a gun in my room. I'll go get it. We'll shoot him.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And we should revisit those.
Yeah. So he's on the run, and this might be a scene that I must say my favorite part of the movie. Salah shows up.
Man, he looks old.
Yeah,
He looks old.
but I didn't know when he was going to show up.
I didn't either. It actually caught me off guard.
He's a cab driver now in New York City, which I thought was kind of appropriate.
Yeah, not bad.
And there's a news thing playing about the whole parade and the thing that happened, and the guy next to Indy is like, "Oh my God, it's you! You're the guy that's wanted!" And before he can do anything, a fist just comes in, and it's Salah.
Yeah.
and it's like, "Get in the car, my friend." I was like, I kind of like that.
There
He's
was
got-
bridge traffic.
yeah, he's got little grandkids now,
Uh-huh.
and he takes him to the airport because he's going to go to Morocco to find Helena and the dial that she stole. And there's a moment where Salah says to him, he drops him off the airport, and he says, "I brought my passport." And he's kind of like, "This is an adventure." I wanted it so badly, and because I love Salah, I'm just
know,
like, if
it's
he was
kind of
just
a
like,
bummer.
"I'm coming with you, Indy," it just would have given a little bit more of a, why the fuck couldn't he? I don't know. I would have liked that. I like that he shows up at the end again, but I thought that was a much needed little energy boost at that point in the movie. It kind of was
I mean, it's a beloved character. Everyone likes Salah.
I understand, but
There's
I was
no one that-
shocked. I was surprised at how I mean, it was fan servicey, but there was a natural kind of
Oh, I mean,
way to get him in there.
look, don't get me wrong. I felt like almost nothing watching this movie.
Yeah.
That moment where he's like, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, because he's not.
Yeah,
And it's just like
please let him come.
a little bittersweet.
Imagine if that was the whole marketing. This movie was a lie. and it was actually going to be like an old school Sala and Indie adventure.
But see, like that kind of stuff's earned. The two characters have a history. They're
Yeah.
much older now. The
Yeah.
guy's got grandkids.
Right.
Not this time, Sala.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, and I will say this: I like when Sala's like, "I grabbed some things from under your bed." And he has the hat. He opens the bag. I noticed that like Indy doesn't have a gun in this movie, which again,
There was about 2 or 3 times where I'm like, oh, here it comes.
he doesn't have it.
No.
because he's flying. He's getting on an airplane, and not that I'm sure there were metal detectors weren't what they were, but I like that.
Plus, you could just pack a gun. You can do that now.
They acknowledged that he is an old man that wouldn't be thinking about, I'm going away with a gun at this point in his life. It's just not him anymore. And he didn't even think to grab the hat and because it's not him. It's not that Indy anymore.
Yeah, I didn't really
And the
consider
fact that
he is just shambling off to the airport.
he's
without
just
his
going
stuff.
with a fucking And I did like that. And then he gets on the plane. That's when we get that flashback scene where it's the last time that he saw Helena and Basil was like, take this thing and destroy it.
Did you scoff because it comes back to her?
Oh, I thought that was really weak. Yeah,
You didn't like that transition?
It's
So Indy's, staring wistfully out the window, and it flashes back. And then, after the flashback, it's her looking
Did I
wistfully
really
out
scoff
the
out
window.
loud?
Dude, I looked over at you. I'm like, you didn't like that one, did you, Joe?
It's her as a little girl in the airplane window, and it fades into her looking. It's like, fucking hack 101.
I really thought she was going to drag this movie down to the
No, she
ground.
added a level of energy that, again, it wasn't.
I'm making a face, but I get what you're saying. Tell you what, the short round substitute, I did not mind.
Yeah, he was okay.
He was okay.
Yeah,
he was all right.
He they set up early on that he likes to fly and then is into airplanes. I like that.
He just wasn't annoying.
No.
And it's a great look. These movies, in a sense, they're for kids.
Yeah,
in so many
they were. I don't think anyone.
Well, they're for
They're
everyone.
now for man children.
Yeah, but they're definitely for kids. If you have 6 or 7-year-olds, play them all these movies.
Yeah,
they're so.
Oh, I agree.
My interest. I was thinking about this. I've always been into esoteric stuff, occult. Real wacky shit. I've talked a billion times. You guys said I'm a conspiracy nut. I realized I'm like so much of that is from seeing Raiders when I was 6 or 7 or whatever.
You know what I realized? Because I put it out on Twitter. I said this is the proper 4th installment, and it's the bonus disc.
Yeah,
from those. I don't know if you had that set. It's like
I didn't
2003.
I've always been broke. I wanted it. I couldn't afford it.
I guess I was young enough where it was like, here, it's a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
I poured over that bonus disc because it was like the first time I really saw them making movies. And it was so cool to see that. And I still watch those little documentaries. They're fascinating about just how much work went into those fucking movies. It's incredible.
Well, now you can watch how much work went into making a prairie dog.
It's just going to be a guy sitting at a computer, which is Crystal Skull. It's a guy going, we animated it here. And then I included it in my video, but that guy from fucking Temple of Doom, like, well, we had him invent these dummies that kicked when they fell. I was like...
that's the thing, man. Like, we've stopped innovating.
Yeah.
Movies used to innovate. That's
Yeah.
why they looked different. That's why they changed. We've 100% flatlined.
Real quick. We didn't talk about this, but right before it started, I said, what do you think? Did mountain dissolve?
Oh, how about that?
Why the fuck would
They
you
didn't do it.
include it and then not do it? That was the baffling part.
They seem to do it on the
They seemed
Lucasfilm
to do it,
instead.
but it didn't work. Fuck them.
Odd choice. Because it's, quite frankly, it's something I kind of forgot they did.
But you're
no,
using
no,
that Paramount logo, which I don't even think they have to. I don't think they do.
Oh, no. No
Because
one
they
uses
just
that.
own like the distribution rights. I don't
The
think
only
that-
person that uses old shit is Tarantino. He'll use, like, if he makes a movie for Columbia, he'll use the old
No, but I'm
Columbia
saying I don't think they even had. There is a Paramount logo in the movie. It was Disney, then it was Paramount, and then it was Lucasfilm.
Oh, that is...
I'm saying
Oh,
why
that
the
is
fuck
bizarre.
did they? And Paramount doesn't own the series anymore. It was just weird.
That is weird.
I would even give them if they used the Disney thing and then fade into a castle. It was just the way they did it.
Yeah,
Was
they could have
really
done it
stupid.
into a castle.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
It was dumb.
Where were you at, man?
do you mean?
I'm sitting there just like all this stuff was bothering me from the jump.
Well,
and
it was literally the opening minute of the movie. I definitely did it on the Lucasfilm thing, and I went, that's odd. And then I watched the movie.
so I kind of like the scene.
Amidst the crinkling and crackling.
When he, dude, there was someone's phone went off. Like right next to that was the ringtone.
That was the ringer.
What is it? 2002? Jesus Christ. So when he gets to Morocco, I kind of like that scene when the auction is happening and he's like, "Give it back, we're going."
Nothing like a rogues gallery.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
loved it.
And it's like Indy was always in and out of those worlds. He had to deal with the unseemly elements of fucking Tangiers
Yeah.
or, what have you. that was the cool thing about Indy. He's got friends all. Like, the thing he says about Marcus Brody in Last Crusade.
Yeah, he'll blend in, disappear.
That's Indy. Like he was talking about himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always like that when there's a international setting of all the weirdos.
I like that we got Crystal Skull I'm not Crystal Skull. Last Crusade necktie wearing Indy for a little bit.
Dude, thank you for saying that. That's his best look with the tie in Last Crusade.
Especially as an older man now, it worked very
so cool.
It's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh man, he looks hot in Last Crusade. Yeah. I wanted to walk around like that.
That scene where he shows up like in the castle too is where are the tapestries?
It's so good. I forget how funny that is.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
then you think about it.
Thank God.
He's Scottish, so he could probably do He grew up with the accent.
Right. It's fun.
Last Crusade's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years. I'm like, oh, I like
really
movies.
movie.
I forgot. I'm like,
it's a really good
wait,
movie.
I like movies.
Yeah. So, yeah, he shows up in Morocco, and they kind of get into it a little bit in terms of she's trying to sell this thing. Then she also has a fiance that she, I guess, broke things off with. So he's after her,
Some
and then
gangster.
the gangsters after her, and then Schmidt shows up with his goons. They're all kind of chasing them in this scene, which it's fine. I thought
didn't care for it.
I thought him in the little club there, and he's yelling at all the gangsters was a lot better than
great.
Yeah, and he's under the table and everything. Yeah, and. From there, we go to. He's like, I know a sea captain, so we're going to.
Well, wait, whoa. How does it all? They get on they
get on that little
Schmidt
cart.
Gets on a. Well, Schmidt gets away.
Yeah, he gets in the car, and they get stuck on their little thing, and from there, he's like, "Well, I'm going to come with you." He's like, "Because that's where it's in."
Wait, how did they know where he was?
Because they have all these notes with her father,
okay,
so they kind of have figured out. Now they're going to go to the crash site of this Roman ship where they think there's going to be the second
in
half.
the Aegean Sea.
Yes,
okay.
So Indy's like, I know someone who. I wonder if like that was written for someone else, like someone we've seen before. But I always thought it was going to be. He might not be alive still. The Black Sea captain from Raiders.
Oh, Katanga.
Yeah,
he's got to be dead.
Yeah. I kind of thought that's where it was.
That would be kind of cool.
But I knew Banderas
was
in
a
it.
cool character.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
okay.
said,
Oh wait, they're going to get there. They're like, we can get there first.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
sometimes with these movies, it's hard.
It
They're globetrotting.
really does boil down to let's get there first and find the thing first.
Okay. Cool.
And
so they get to Spain. Or no, I'm sorry. They get to Greece.
Yeah.
And you have Antonio Banderas. It was Rafael. It was an R name, I
don't
think.
know, Ronaldo or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just sucks. Like Toby Jones, Sala, Antonio, they don't get much to do.
Yeah.
He's fine. Antonio Banderas is
Yeah.
a good actor,
You ever see
but
those Zara movies with him?
from
The
what I
first
remember,
one is phenomenal. It's incredible.
Who directed that? I looked it up
Spielberg
recently.
produced it. I know that.
Dude, it's like
It's really
I
good.
got taken to that
The
for
Mask of Zorro. It's great.
a birthday party.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and I was like, sorry, I'm like, this looks corny.
I've always loved Zorro.
We were loving
yeah,
it.
the
That
second
movie.
one blows.
I'm gonna watch that again.
That's great
It's an
though.
almost called classic, perhaps.
It might be come back to that. Anthony Hopkins as Don Diego, the original Zorro. It's great. So yeah, he shows up for a little bit, and he's fun little scene. I like that there's eels.
That was the one good laugh in the movie. Like Helena, looks over the side of the boat and goes, okay, because they're going to dive down to the ship to find the other half. What is that? Is that a shark? And Antonio's like, no, it's an eel. And
Teddy's like, oh, they look like snakes. He's like, they do not look like snakes.
no, they don't.
Funny.
Yeah, it was. It was funny. It's always Harrison Ford plays vulnerable good. Like, I'd love to see a movie where he's like a loser. He's too old now, but he would have been like, imagine like a I don't know. There's a few movies like that out there. I think Mosquito Coast, I really should watch.
That's one I haven't seen.
He's got a nutcase almost, or he loses it, I should say.
I watched the one.
Oh, you watched Frantic. I saw
watched
your thing.
Frantic, and
was
then
pretty
I
good.
watched the one with Michelle Pfeiffer that you
What Lies Beneath.
You like that one, right?
'Cause he's a bad guy,
Yeah.
and he's a nasty villain.
Yeah,
in
it's
that.
funny. I remember I saw it directed by Robert Zemeckis, and I'm like, oh, we had to have talked about this in our
Yeah, we
used
did.
cars episode. That would have been, I guess. Or in 1941 for some reason.
One of them.
They probably used cars.
Yeah.
And I remember you championing that movie, and I was just like, I'm not interested in that. It was good. It was fun. He's a fucking...
It's okay, but when the twist happens,
when he comes, bad guy Harrison Ford comes out, it's great.
it caught me so off guard.
Yeah.
And it's great. He's just the absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I would have loved to have seen him be sinister because he can do it really well.
Yeah.
But whatever, he's gonna be dead soon.
So they end up going down the dive to get this second piece of the dial, and while they're down on the ocean, Schmidt shows up on the boat and kills the crew.
By the way, it's one of the worst staged scenes in the movie. They go down there and they find the thing and they pull it out and unleashes all these eels that are nesting down there. You can't see a fucking thing, Johnny.
Yeah.
You can't
That
see
same thing
anything.
later in the movie when she's riding the motorcycle in the rain. And it's just like...
Another one where you might as well close your eyes.
Yeah.
It's just...
An audio play.
Someone nudge you.
Yeah.
But horrible.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, am I even looking at water?
Yeah, you're not.
I should say water for our Philly.
You're not looking at... You're looking
at nothing.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm sorry, man. I like those first 3 movies. You're looking at something pretty much the whole time.
Yeah. It's very, very synthetic, the look of this movie.
Horrible.
So yeah, they come back up, and there is again. You were championing him before we did this. You're like, I love Mads.
Love him.
He's fucking great.
He's so
good.
good.
I gotta watch the Hannibal show now because he just. Like,
I almost watched that for him.
What do you like him? What was like your introduction to him? I haven't really seen him in much.
I'm trying to think what I saw him first.
Well, what comes to mind when you know? There's got to be an example of something he did that you're like, oh, that was great.
Pusher, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, he was really fun.
Who?
Him in the movie, Mads. He was
he's
really,
great.
really fun.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
I got the movie in my head. Yeah.
So,
dude, he's just. I mean, he's undeniable. I must have saw him in something and just been like, that guy's the fucking man. I mean, there was Valhalla Rising.
Oh, okay.
But he was in shit before that.
Yeah.
I'd seen him in. I don't know.
This is the scene I really disliked is when Indy is tied up and she's kind of helping them. But like they just shoot fucking Antonio Banderas because Indy won't help them. They shoot him once in the leg. I thought that was going to be it. No, then they dead. And Helena kind of cons him into thinking she's going to help Schmidt. And
which is good. I liked that aspect of the Indiana Jones movies where it's like, well, whose side are you on?
Right.
They went a little too far at Crystal Skull, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Mac knew what he was doing.
No. No. And you know what the funny thing is, too, because I read all those screenplays when I was going into that one.
Yeah, was there anything there?
No, but I got to send you the... maybe I'll post it on Patreon for our Indiana Jones and the Saucer Men from Mars. It's a really interesting script written by Jeb Stewart. Originally, the sidekick is Russian. So it kind of blurs the line between him jumping sides because his name is Yuri. He is a Russian. So it kind of, you understand his back and forth, whereas Mac is just a cool character, but it's like, what is your motive?
Yeah,
like,
what are you doing?
I like the fucking gold. It's like, huh?
Really strange character.
Yeah.
But so she's kind of doing that with them. She's like, well, I'll decode it for you because it's a code.
Yeah.
And he can't do it. He's a math guy. And, it's
Some
Polybius.
Foreign, yeah. So she kind of lies about what it says.
Omits, maybe, perhaps.
In the process, slips Indy a stick of dynamite, or she has it behind her back. She borrows a cigarette from him. She has a stick of dynamite, lights that. They throw it. They make their escape on Schmidt's boat, kind of leave them in, and he, which again is kind of, this is a stupid moment, but like they told him I don't know where they say we're going.
They were going east.
East, but like why wouldn't they just lie? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's also that he's just looking at him. He's like, they're going west.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's badly presented.
And this was like kind of
they're off the Sicily.
It was just like, this is where like, I don't know, maybe like Indy being a little too, when she's like, yeah, we made it, we did it. He's like, my friend just got killed. Like, he's really like teary-eyed a lot in this movie. Did you not notice that? Like, there's a lot of scenes. I thought the scene when we skipped over it, when they're at night on the ship and she's asking him, what time period, where would you go? And he says, I would stop my son from enlisting. Thought that was good. I thought
it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, I'm glad they didn't retcon that and go back on it. But
I found a scene in Crystal Skull very strange. I thought it was very out of character for Indy. They get stuck in the quicksand.
Dude, when he starts, it's a mixture of sand and water. Is that what you're talking about?
What the fuck was that?
It's unlike him at all.
He'd never do that.
No.
Maybe after the fact.
The scene,
he was never like that.
The scene in the library.
He was always a guy that just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I know, so why do you know?
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to know.
It's just not only that, it's his delivery of doing it. Like, he could have done it the way, like, quicksand, it's a mixture. Like, he would have done it that way. He wouldn't have, like, completely...
It was sitcom-y.
He broke character, and it was just, like, very comical explaining. Yeah, it's a moment I don't like either.
Very bizarre.
I don't like that whole scene. That whole scene's trash.
Horrible.
Yeah. I love when he's, like, the doddering old man, go get help. And then he comes back with the Russians. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck did you expect him to do?
What was he gonna do?
Yeah, fucking stupid. That movie is really dumb. I'm sorry if I don't know if I'd rank it if Dial of Destiny below Crystal Skull, because at least this one, the character logic was there. It was a fucking cartoon, but at least like the character decisions somewhat made sense. In Crystal Skull, not a single fucking decision anyone makes any sense.
It's a strange film.
Yeah.
But look, here's the thing too.
It's just like, we got George to agree. Finally, let's just shoot the goddamn thing.
Well, look, you've gotten so much mileage out of great action in those first 3 movies. You think like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do it again, but you're not doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does kick ass in that movie, though. I will say this.
No. What I'm saying is, the action scenes are inert.
Yeah.
Like when they're swashbuckling,
Right.
standing on the 2 dude, no.
Yeah, that's
Like,
really stupid.
It's 2 actors on a stage.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, the background doesn't look real.
That's not in the first 3.
Yeah.
The action's very engaging.
Yeah.
It's very compelling.
They're there. You know?
And even though they're fake, dude. I'm watching those 3 movies. I'm like, you can see. I'm like, oh, they just like when
Yeah,
they're.
look, don't get me wrong. That scene in the raft when they're in
I don't
Temple
even
of
have a
Doom,
dude. No, I don't have a problem with it.
the green screen
'Cause
I'm saying. There is that.
You said it best. They hold the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the raft, in not only their weight is pulling them down,
Right.
and keeping it kind of like this.
Yeah.
So when it inflates, it flattens out and
Yeah.
then lands.
That might have been bullshit too. They might have been engineered in a way that looked more plausible than it actually is.
I don't care. It's silly,
but I'm
and I
talking
like
about
it.
when then they're going down and they cut to they're stunt doubles, but then they cut to a shot of the actors and the background is completely phony. Same thing. There's a couple shots in the mine. Like I get
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
there's a
right.
charm with it.
Right,
Then
right.
this it was just like every possible action set piece.
Dude, I'm telling
was
you,
completely fake.
not only, but they're CGIing like I said, like chairs.
Dude, they CGI'd his face a couple of times on an old Harrison. Like, there's a couple scenes where he had to just get up fast, I feel like. I swear to God. There's that scene when he...
Have a solid bowel movement.
He slides down the bookcase after he pushes them all over, and it wasn't him. You could see it's like... And again,
That one was... That whole sequence was really staged poorly.
So, yeah, they go off, and I guess this is when they're going to Sicily to find the... Again... Here's one place they actually are.
How it's night and day.
Yeah.
The second they're in, you're like, that's a street.
and it looks-
even if it's in Venice or
Yeah.
it's an Italian street.
Yeah, you can tell.
That's a church.
Yeah.
That's there.
Even the cave when they originally go in, it does look like it's an actual some kind of touristy
cave of
Is that
and he was saying it weird, but you know what? I think all of my ancient Greek pronunciations are like I'm really bad at them. I always
You.
said Dionysus. And he was like Dionysus, or he was saying it really weird, but it's the ear of Dionysus. It's cave system.
By the way, can we talk about this? There's like a guy who's working the entryway of this cave. Schmidt shows up and goes, and the guy goes, "Oh, we're closed," and then he just points the gun and we think they're going to let him in. They come back later, he's dead.
Yeah,
they just shot him.
Yeah, no witnesses, baby.
That was the same thing at I will give them credit in the scene in the college. And just a woman, what are you doing in here? And then a guy come, what was that?
Yeah.
I was like, God damn.
Yeah,
I
I'm fine
will
with
say
it.
that is something. Crystal Skull lacks a little bit of maliciousness like that.
There's a million times people could be killed in that movie.
Yeah.
It's once again, it's
And even when you do get, like when you see the guy get eaten by the ants, it's cartoony,
still pretty good that you wouldn't want to get pulled into that hole. The fact that they don't, he doesn't just get eaten; he gets
Just
dragged
they
into the
drag him into the hole.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So then
So they're mucking around in the cave.
This is when I went to the bathroom only because they posted the clip of this scene, so I knew it was going to happen. The water displacement.
Hold on a second. Teddy got snatched up in Sicily.
That's right.
And they're like, Helena and Indy are basically like, well, they're going to take him where we're going because he hurt us, so we'll just meet them there. In so many words, they're not hanging out.
Right.
So they go in. Go ahead.
I do like that. This might be the only time we've ever heard Temple of Doom, the events referenced. He references that he was tortured with voodoo and the blood of Kali. I love that. And then they get up to this. This is Archimedes' tomb, and
I don't know if we've mentioned Archimedes yet.
we have.
Okay.
Yeah. On outside of the tomb, they're like, "What is this? These are phoenixes." He's like, "No, well, look at them. They have propellers on them." We're like, "Oh, that's weird." And they open up the tomb, and Archimedes is wearing a watch, which is odd.
Yeah.
That's not something that was invented when he was.
Wristwatch.
Yeah. So as they're figuring this out, this is when our villains show up. Not before Teddy has escaped them, and that's what I said. That hulking fucking truck of a man.
It's fantastic.
He kind of chains him underwater.
I don't know if he does. He speak a line of dialogue.
He might not, but dude, that was
Great.
exactly the type of villain I wanted in this movie.
Perfect.
Just fucking steroided look. He looks like a dude. He is like a car.
As per usual, I love villains
Yeah.
in movies.
Yeah.
More than the heroes. Maybe not Indy, but
So this is the one scene when Indy gets a gun and starts to fight. I don't think he hits anyone, but then they end up hitting him in the shoulder, and Helena and Teddy escape, and they take Indy. And this is where we see.
oh, Indy gets plugged, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
gets
gets
shot
I
here.
just said that.
Did
He
you
gets
say that?
shot in the
Okay, I
he
was zoned out. I was thinking because
like
I was
me
thinking
during the movie.
Well, I think he did kill some Nazis in the beginning.
Well, that was young Indy. It was different.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're
Old man
saying.
Indy don't kill
I
anyone.
see what you're saying. Gotcha.
So yeah, they end up. I don't know why he's like, take him with us. I don't know, just like you were saying, they should have just fucking killed Indy. I don't know if he like wants him to witness what he's doing with the dial. There seems to be an ego thing with him.
A little bit of that.
Yeah, because again, dude, when he starts talking about his plan and he fucking gets out the old school Nazi command uniform, he's got all the fucking soldiers doing the salute. Thought that was cool. I thought that there's this sect of Nazis who believe that Hitler fucked up, which I guess you're telling me
There was
a
a few.
thing. Yeah, and they go up in this plane. So basically, what the dial ends up doing now, they have both pieces because the other half is buried with Archimedes, the other half is buried with Archimedes. So they're able to. I guess it points to fissures in the planetary alignment or something.
Yeah, if when you get it spinning up, it tells you when there's wrinkles in time. In so many words,
and you can use those to enter. I don't know how.
According to the math,
30 years,
the
is
math
that-
he did, he thought it was going to take him back to 1939, and he was going to go to Munich.
I kind of wish it did. I was kind of a little excited there. That's where they were
Kind
going.
of cool. But
that doesn't happen.
It doesn't. Here's another stupid thing.
Continental
Continental
shifting?
drift. Which he's like, Archimedes wouldn't know about that. He couldn't have known about it. Like, you're not taking that into account. And I'm like, what the fuck does continental drift have to do with a time fissure?
The only thing I could think that they're entering the wrong one, I don't know.
Regardless, he's like, you're not going back to 1939. He's like, it's not going to take you there. It's not going to take you there. And it's like 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. And then like at the last second.
I do like that he gets under his skin.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck it, abort. And they're like, no, we're getting sucked in.
Too late, yeah.
Teddy's still on the plane.
Teddy stole a plane
that's
and
kinda
he followed her.
stupid.
She was on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
went up through the wheel well.
Right.
Whatever.
So,
They're all on the... Fuck, what are those bombers called? It's a bomber. It's like a Nazi bomber.
And so they, next thing you know, they're in 214 BC.
I thought it was cool as shit, man.
I did. That was the one time I turned to you in the movie and just went, oh.
And I took that as I don't like this.
No, I thought, like you said, I thought it worked in a way.
Made me think, too. I'm like, we need some more Roman movies.
Yeah,
We need
they're
to
cool.
get back to that.
I'd like that, and I like that. No, like, thank Christ they weren't speaking English. Like it wasn't that type of thing. Even like that train sequence, the prologue to this movie, it's all subtitled. There's very few of those Germans that are not speaking German. Even when you look at something like Last Crusade,
when they figure out Basil's a spy,
but when they're talking to each other, like
Yeah.
I look back at that scene when Last Crusade, when it looks like Germany has declared war on the Jones Boys. Like there's scenes like that when the villains are talking to each other. They probably wouldn't be talking in English, but I'm willing to,
I will say this: Europeans are much more bilingual than Americans. So it never surprises me when a European character knows English.
He does speak a few different tongues in this movie, which is kind of cool.
Well, he's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though they really do hop around a lot in this movie, and so they're in 214 BC. And they're able to grab a parachute this time.
Well, there is
parachutes.
They're flying over in that double prop bomber,
right?
And Teddy's behind them, and like a German was sleeping in the plane.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a Nazi. It was just a guy.
He didn't even feel it take off. Or
why even put that in there though?
Because they obviously wanted to have. Oh, this guy helped us get back.
But they never talk about him. They never mention him.
It's because they knew there'd be people going, "Oh, a kid flew a plane there and back."
Why not?
Why not? I agree. I think it's more implausible that this character didn't go, "Oh fuck, we're in 214 BC." I never saw him again.
You'd almost immediately lose your mind.
Yeah.
you would lose
Yeah,
your
you would
shit.
vote.
You wouldn't understand.
So what is this
it.
happening? The Battle of...
They said it's the Siege of Syracuse,
Okay.
we'll call it.
So
when Archimedes is there.
They think it's the plane is a dragon. So now we cut back to like, okay, everything on Archimedes' tomb is depicting this event. They think the planes are dragons. They're launching spears at him. Spears are coming through. The fucking engines are all fucked up. Indy and Helena manage to parachute out. And again, kind of a weak ending because you get your villain and your kill villain killed in the same...
plane just crashes.
The plane just crashes.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah, I would have loved to seen the fucking spear rip through that dude's chest. That's what I wanted to say.
One of the nameless henchmen gets one because him and Boyd are shooting out the
that's true.
window. Man, I like that guy.
The villains were great.
Yeah, but I got a Boyd. What's his name?
Holbrook, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
The kid's a stack.
So
Good villain. I love that.
when all this happened, Archimedes, they come to him. They're like, there's something happening, whatever, and he's running. He runs
the
down
servants
there.
are saying the Romans are.
Yeah.
We got to get the fuck out of here.
He sees the plane go down, and you find out the wristwatch that he's buried with. He gets off of Schmidt. He takes the wristwatch. He takes the wristwatch off him, and he comes and meets up with Indy and Helena. And this was so strange that he wants to stay. Indy wants Helena to leave him in 214.
Well, I imagine he has nothing to go home to. That's how he's
That's
thinking.
kind of the goal.
And plus, it's like, in a sense, like someone like Indiana Jones, like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to pal around with Archimedes in 214 BC?
Again, I don't know why he's like blubbery here. It's just like...
Well, you don't like to see... Okay, let me put it this way. This may be the first time you ever see Indiana Jones give up. He never gives up. And now he's like, I give up. And it's like, I can see why that bothers you. Because Indy don't give up. Never gives up. He's been a million spots where it's like, dude, you're fucked. You're dead. And he never dies.
The closest we even see him like cry, I think, is when Henry Sr. gets shot and he's forced to go. And I don't even think then he gets that.
It's a little misty.
But yeah, this was like, he was quite a few times this movie. He's like on the verge of a complete sobbing.
So they're bullshitting with Archimedes.
I thought they were going to leave him there. I don't know if you thought that. I thought that's how it was going to end.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah.
But then they do a classic Indiana Jones punch knockout. Helena,
it's fun.
Because
She
Helena's
says-
pleading with him.
Yeah, she's like, you can't stay. Well, no, he can't. You're a fuck up.
You would fuck up.
And we should also... it gets kind of confusing where Archimedes is like, you were always destined to come here and bring us the dial, so I guess he could finish making it. Because when they first cut to Archimedes, he's got like not complete on his desk, and then he has the complete one, and he says to Indy, "You brought this to me. You were always destined to show this to me." And I don't know, time, like you said, time travel,
time loop. It's that's the paradox of a time loop.
I was thinking about
it's chicken and egg.
I was thinking about this during this movie because this movie deals with the 60s. A great fucking inexplicably amazing time travel movie is Men in Black 3.
I have never seen Men in Black 3.
It is fucking incredible.
Really?
I swear to God. And
2 sucked, right?
2 is terrible.
The first one's amazing.
It's
Man, I
so
love that movie.
The whole movie, it's Will Smith partnered with back in the 60s with Josh Brolin playing young Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
And at the very end, we discover that Agent K, who was the Tommy Lee Jones character, was tasked with looking after young Agent J when his father was killed. His father was like a guard somewhere, and the villain ends up killing him. It's surprisingly touching. And you get like, he comes back and appreciates Kay in his life a little bit more. It's not just this old man, his old partner. It's like there's a reason that they were put together. It's a great movie. And you're, I love that fucking guy, Michael whatever, who's in A Serious Man. He's
Stolberg, I believe.
Yeah, he's in it. He's great. But yeah, that's what I really thought this movie was. I thought it was going to end with him just like being left there. But very same shot, much like the earlier when he woke up the Magical Mystery Tour. He wakes up in bed. He's all bandaged up. There's antibiotics on the counter.
By the way, wait, they have the dial.
No, Archimedes kept it.
I think it was there. Not only that, on his bed table is
you might be right.
the replica Lance of Longinus. Why is that there?
I don't know. Like I said, I thought for sure it
He
was going
wakes
to
up
turn.
and he's looking at artifacts. I'm like, wait, why the fuck is the fake Lance there?
Like I said, I definitely do have to revisit this movie because it was just we were in a fucking crowded theater, and it was just I'm trying to process everything.
Sure.
Probably details we missed, but
It's tough too because you're like, I got to talk about this fucking thing.
I knew fucking Karen Allen was going to show up because she was at the premiere, and I think her name's on one of the posters someone like showed, so I knew it was going to happen.
Well, I did pretty good. I didn't spoil myself at all.
Yeah,
with
I
the
didn't either.
exception of today, I saw something was like, it was cool when the Romans showed up, and I was like, fuck. I was like, God, I put it together. I'm like, God damn it. That's all I saw. But like you said, they did not. They seemingly wanted to keep her surprised for the fourth one. I didn't know she was coming in this.
Oh yeah, you don't remember that when it was all. I fucking tried to find
Vaguely.
the interview.
Also, when the fact that you said, was that 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm gonna be dead.
She did an
Real
interview
soon.
around when that movie came out where she was talking about like how they had her in like big fucking heavy raincoats with like umbrellas like blocking her walking to the soundstage. Like they were really trying to.
And then they put her on the poster.
Well, because that was after the fact. They decided, well, fuck it, it's going to be too hard. We might as well try to sell some tickets for this thing, like using nostalgia. So they were like,
Okay, maybe.
Mary Williams. Yeah, that's so stupid. Anyway, so he's like, why'd you bring me back? She's like, what do I have to, live for? And then Teddy comes in, grocery bags with Marion, who also looks like an elderly old person.
That's fine.
It's kind of heartbreaking to see people that
It's gonna happen to you.
I know, that's what's heartbreaking about it. Dude, they look like old fucking people.
I don't want to knock her too much, but she had work done.
It doesn't look like the way to me because she looked like cobwebs in this movie.
Yeah,
She got that long
that's
gray
what,
hair.
like-
She looked like, God, she was so fucking hot. And in Scrooge, she looks great. I always had a
She
crush
realized.
on her.
I mean, how many boys had a crush on her from Raiders?
God, in Animal House too. Like she's
Yeah.
so
Well, I
much
didn't
great
see
shit
Animal
she's
House
in.
when I was a kid. Well, I maybe did.
And then the same thing happened to me, dude. I love Myrna Loy, and she was in this.
Myrna Loy is hot.
She was. I think it's that movie Burt Reynolds directed. It's called The End. It's him and Dom DeLuise. She's in it, and it's just like it soils your. It's and that's not me being misogynist. It's for men too, because I look at Harrison Ford, the same thing. His fucking saggy body. It's just you look what happens to a human body, and you're just depressed.
I mean, when it comes to actors, they just so rarely age gracefully.
Yeah.
Because look, their face, for better or worse, I think it's idiotic, but their face is it's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
So they get work done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's absolutely absurd.
So she shows up, and it harkens back to the scene in Raiders where he's injured, and he's like, "Does it hurt here?"
I thought that was fine. That's a nice wrap up.
Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting.
Asala returns here too.
That kind of
It's
thing.
like, it's like, all right, kids, let's go get ice cream.
I like that.
So
I like
Helena
that.
and him take the kids to go get ice cream to give Marion and
Indy
Indy a
some alone
moment.
time.
But so they have a little moment together. Helena and Sala take the kids out to the CGI'd street.
That's what I was going to say. It's the fucking street is CGI'd. But what is with that last shot? That was strange.
When he grabs,
Why does he grab the hat?
It kind of goes up to like the fire escape. There's like a little clothesline,
Yeah.
and a plant, and his hat's pinned to the clothesline. And it's the iris is coming in,
Right.
and then right before it's about to cover everything, the hand comes out the window and snatches the hat.
Does he fuck in the hat? Is that the is that the thing?
Lights off,
Yeah.
but hat on,
Yeah.
dude. That or is it an implication like the adventure's not over quite yet?
It's definitely over, but I think it was enough to be like, he's Indiana Jones. He'll always keep going.
I guess.
I just don't understand why he would have done it when he was like bandaged up, like kissing Marion. It didn't make sense in the context. Like,
yeah, why did you need the hat?
I don't know.
It really doesn't.
I
make
thought
sense.
once I found out Karen Allen was in the movie, I thought for sure the movie was going to end. I didn't even say it's in our prediction, but it was like she was going to be doing something or somewhere, and his silhouette was just going to appear, and she was going to turn around, and that was going to be it. Cut.
Can we get you behind a fucking camera, Joseph Ramone?
Instead, they have to have. Does it hurt here? Does it hurt? I don't know.
You
dude.
saw
It was
it.
just like,
You saw it coming. Don't get.
yeah, but then you look at, dude. I'm sorry. It was just like two old people in their pajamas. Like, I don't know.
I don't mind. That don't bother me.
I guess.
Old people are allowed to love.
I'm not saying they're not, but it was just it's Indiana Jones and
it's
Marion.
Ramone's. It's like Logan's Run. Once you hit a certain age, actors must go away now.
I think that's why I'm depressed. Cause I think for me, it was a realization that like, holy fuck! Not only is Harrison Ford old, I am getting old with him.
Let me see. I don't know if I took a picture, but I almost popped this up on Twitter.
No one's getting younger. You know?
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a bummer.
And we're all getting just older, and even like the heroes you loved are old. And you know, there's like, you have to understand too, like you look at something like Rambo, either before or like Last Blood they did, it's like ridiculous that an old man is running around doing this. I like that, whether they were forced to, because he is old. Like, I can't stress that enough. It's just the man is near 80. He just doesn't move the same way. So I don't know if that painted them into a corner during production, or if they always envisioned this story as he's not going to be as active, because he really isn't. He's really not very active in this movie. He's captured and tied up and sitting down a lot, and he is.
Having little nappies.
Dude, he's seriously always sitting or like tied up. And even the scenes when he's not, he's just kind of like mumbling through. And I get it, dude. The man has given us amazing performances, and he should have.
He's got some bad line readings in there.
He's got some bad line
You're
readings,
right.
and he's if this is what he wanted for the character, because I think he was the only driving force in making this movie. You know, I don't think anyone else really wanted to make it. I think this was the ending. They, you know, if he was okay, he seems okay. He's crying on fucking interviews about it. So he's got to be somewhat at peace with it. And I think he even said he's more so at peace with leaving the character here than he was at the end of Crystal Skull. So if that's the case, movie's a success. Because this is a fucking character and an actor that has given my childhood, you know, not to get blubbery myself, but it was a huge part of my life.
Me too.
And
Me too.
if that's how he wants to leave the character, then fine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was thrilled that there was no passing of the torch.
No.
Because obviously that's what they were setting up the LaBeouf character for, and then they realized afterward, nobody wants that.
Were they, though?
Yes. He even does the stupid hat thing at the
but
end.
he takes it.
I know, but they were... Dude, I cannot... Spielberg was so high on this kid. He was so high on him.
I think Spielberg produced that movie Disturbia, I think it's called. It's like a
Perhaps.
Rear Window type thing where he's under like
saying
house
that was
arrest.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Again, have you seen Honey Boy? You might like Honey Boy. Honey Boy wasn't bad.
I don't care for him.
Yeah.
Like,
No one's
I
particularly
say
like
I'm
drawn to
indifferent,
him.
but like, I'm like, I don't know. I think Spielberg fucked me up by saying he's Brando. And immediately, it poisoned me forever. I'm like, that ain't Brando.
But then he talks shit on Spielberg, which we don't do that.
Oh,
No one we can do it.
no id.
Yeah. No, I did not.
I think you kind of can a little bit. Actually, you kind of can. He is the Godfather.
No. Yeah.
Because even Megan Fox, she kind of shit talked Michael Bay.
And she was done.
Yeah, Spielberg was like, bye.
Yeah. I think she compared him, like working with him, though, working to like in a something Nazi or concentration camp, like something like that. Ugh. So that was completely like...
Oh, that's another thing too, man. I had a problem with that in the movie. Way too much of, they're Nazis. Nazi. It's too easy. Look, if you're going to put it on a geopolitical scale, you don't have much.
Right.
Because he lives in a time period. Yeah. You have the Nazis and you got the Reds.
Kind of why I like Temple of Doom, though, because it's completely divorced from any of that shit. It's just an adventure that he stumbles into. It's not planned. He falls into this situation, and he's greedy. He just the fortune and glory. And through the evolution of that movie, he kind of...
I thought it was
he gives the stone back.
I thought it was very, very smart, the direction they took to it. Was it totally successful? No, but I think it was the right choice.
I love
it. If they did Nazis again, it would.
No.
You had to break it up.
Yeah,
you had to.
Yeah,
he can't just be Nazi hunter Indiana Like that's
you gotta watch the fucking behind the scenes for that too, because it's the same thing as Spielberg being like, "Yeah, George wanted this, and I just said whatever, I'll go along with it."
Like, I have to imagine they temper each other fairly well.
It's gotta be a fucking like, you know, because you forget that. I don't know if Lucas just has a story by credit or if he's a credited screenwriter on Raiders, but you know, it's like
story, I believe.
Okay, because that was his, like, he's story by, I think, on all of the movies. He is on that.
He was going to make them.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, I think that's why I at least like for Crystal Skull, even though it's not that good, it's at least there's some style to it, and not everything is a fucking CGI There's a lot. And
There's
not
a
only
lot.
that, there's an inexcusable CGI in that movie, like the groundhogs and the alien and shit like that, where it's like, if you're... I understand the fucking jungle chase, you gotta do that, but like, that scene when...
Even the sword fighting, as
the
much as
sword
I don't
fighting
like
is-
it, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it could have been done way better,
Yeah.
but
No,
fine.
you have this character walking around with a fucking sword the whole movie, and like,
She's got to use it.
of course there has to be a sword fight. And of course we have to hint that Mutt took fencing lessons.
Riposte.
You know what though? You know what a lot of people like about that movie? You brought up Young Indiana Jones. When he talks about he rode with Pancho, that's an episode.
Oh, is it?
It's a reference
Okay.
to. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is that the end?
I don't have much
we
more
at
to
the
add.
end?
I liked that the font was the same.
I liked that.
John Williams' score was good as always.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Recommend or not?
Yeah, you have to say it.
If you're an indie
What,
fan,
what
you
did I,
got
what did I text you earlier today?
That's what I was trying to find, dude. Ramone's like been anxious. You've been very
I
anxious.
texted you today. I said I feel like we're going to a funeral.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, it felt like going to a
It
funeral.
did. It felt
I
like
was
it felt like you're going to see your friend off before he
down.
you're going to see your friend off before he dies. You just want to pay your respects and not.
Junior.
You don't wanna-
Junior, let it go.
That was you, seriously, with this movie.
Hey, man.
That was me going, Ryan, it's going to be good. It's going to be better. It's going to be like Last Crusade. I can touch it. I can
Joseph,
almost grab
Joseph.
it. I can almost grab it, Ryan.
Joe.
Let it go. Right after I watched someone else plummet to their death, and I'm like, well, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can see it right there. I can see Dial of Destiny. I can grab it. I can hold it with my hands. It's going to be great.
I don't know, man. It was, in a way, I want to say it was better than I thought it was
How
going
do
to
you
be.
think it's going to age?
Poorly. CGI. Every CGI, almost every CGI in the past, I'll say 20 years, is going to age poorly.
Yeah.
Period. I do not care what your opinion is on that because I'm right.
What do you think about the pacing? It was quite a long movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that train ride in the beginning was a little too long. They could have cut some shit out of that.
Yes, I agree. It was like, all right, dude, you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
He kind of wasn't progressing forward. But like I said, I had such a hard on for the idea of him running spy missions during the war in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know what? You know how like Spielberg and Lucas were inspired by the 30 serials to make Indiana Jones? We need to be inspired by Indiana Jones and make something.
I have a few ideas I wanted to talk to you about. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. Like,
Well, it's what I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean we've talked about that. You know, it's like, all right, let our toys go and create new ideas that are based on these things that meant a lot to us. I think that's what ultimately.
That's why I slammed the boomers.
Yeah.
Like me and you grew up in boomer world.
Yeah.
Can we have our world? Are we allowed?
We're still holding on to it.
Do I got to hear the fucking Magical Mystery Tour forever? Like, yeah, the Beatles are good, dude. Okay. Like, enough already. I know.
Yeah, I was like,
But no, it's in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but like just all that shit. Like, I don't care about the 60s, dude. I'm glad you guys had fun for a year. Like, fuck you. I'm just so over it.
what did we? I think we talked about it in something, maybe a movie we did that covered the 60s, and we talked about like that time period didn't even exist.
Barely.
Yeah.
If you want to see a good summation of that, it's a really good Soderbergh movie called The Limey. You ever see that?
Yes, yeah, with Malcolm McDowell.
Yes.
Yeah, or is that Terrence?
Oh,
Stamp?
Terrence Stamp. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but
great.
Peter Fonda's in it, and he basically like this. He's like banging this young girl,
Right.
And she's like, "Oh my god, tell me about the '60s, the summer of love." And he's like, "It was half a year." He's like, "When it was happening, we didn't. It was like we were just getting fucked up. Like it was the summer of love is it's not even a year. It's a summer."
I want to watch Behind the Candelabra. That's
Fucking hilarious
yeah.
movie.
I've
Such
been
a
in the mood for that movie. It's such
I
a
think
wild
I'm
movie.
supposed to laugh at
Yeah.
it. Like, come on. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to indie, you said take some inspiration for that. I would love some heroics. A character you can get behind. Have you noticed it's all anti-hero in a sense?
Sure.
Like, this guy's a piece of shit, but he's going to rise to the occasion to save this dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about just an Indiana Jones, a smart guy? That's the other thing. Smart as fuck.
Right.
And he was always
Educated,
using his,
yeah.
He was a physical guy, but he was using his brain to get out of shit. And I think that's why people responded so much to at least the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
He uses his wits to get out of things,
Yeah.
to do things. It's all smarts.
Yeah. Well, I talked about that in my video where it's like so many of the iconic Indiana Jones moments are him pushed into a corner where he's like, "Fuck it, all right, I'll try it. What do I have to lose?"
You made such a
Like,
good point.
It's like that scene where him chopping the bridge. It's like they're literally pressing from both sides, and he's just like, "All right, well, here we go."
love that
Yeah,
scene.
it's phenomenal.
Hold on, lady. We
Yeah.
go for a ride. And then the way she's just like, oh no.
Bolaram, prepare to meet Kali in hell. I love how I don't know if it would never happen that way, but just like from one chop, the whole bridge falls, you know?
Well, he has to take a few whacks at it. Because they have time to be like, oh shit, they start running.
That's another behind the scenes piece that's fucking the fact that they built that bridge. I mean, it's steel cables dressed with rope. It's still terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's like the sorcerer thing.
Spielberg is
too.
like, I couldn't go out. Spielberg's got weird shit. I know that I remember when the Jurassic Park river ride opened in Universal, he makes it stop so he can get off before it goes down. And I'm like, dude, you made some of the most like thrilling set pieces of all time. You can't go down a log flume.
That's like people like, like a David Lynch makes Sinister. Like almost, you get an evil vibe watching some of his shit.
Yeah.
Nicest guy you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
And I would know. Yeah, but no, that's what everyone says. It's like, dude, he's like the most normal, nicest guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just...
I am glad that this movie is out and done with, so now I can get back on the internet and read things. And I've been so avoidant of anything. I think premiering this movie at Cannes was a huge fucking mistake. I don't think they should have done that.
It's an odd choice.
Crystal Skull premiered there too.
Oh, did it?
So it's not. It's just like.
Well, it wasn't in competition. I think it was.
No. But I think the fact that you had a month before this movie was released to the general public, you had it come out. Reception wasn't overwhelmingly positive.
I don't think it was ever going to be that though.
It wasn't. But at least with like, I think I told us in the podcast. I saw Crystal Skull at midnight. My dad and I walked out. I was a teenager, and I was just like, "Oh, that was pretty good." He went, "That movie sucked," in the parking lot, like that. And that was because up to that point we hadn't read anything about it.
Yeah,
there was no critical. I mean, I don't remember the reviews from the film festival being the same, but when I walked out of Crystal Skull, I was blind to the fact that people didn't like that movie because I had just seen it, and I thought it was okay. There were things I didn't like.
Yeah, I felt the same. I walked out and I was like, that's pretty good.
With this, I liked more than I disliked, but I don't know if that's going to make it, grow on me in the long run. I think at least for me as a fan, I wanted too much out of it, and it was never going to live up to those standards.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's so. But you see, that's the problem with making these movies. I won't even call it a cash grab or anything because all these guys are rich. They don't need the money. It's not a cash grab.
Yeah.
Maybe for Disney, but it's not. It's going to lose money for Disney. If what I'm reading is correct.
Yeah, it's not going to make money.
They're out of control.
And our theater was like maybe 2/3 full.
Yeah, it wasn't empty.
No, there was a lot more empty seats because like I said, went to the bathroom once quickly. There was a lot more empty seats than when we came in. We were just in like a really dense area. We were like right in the middle.
But I swear to God, you look at the money moving around in studios. Is anything real? Like their ledger book for budgets might be CGI, dude. Because I'm like, this shit is not. It's not possible. You can't send $700 million. Like Indy's got to make $1 billion to break even. I'm hearing. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane.
You also have to.
Okay, hold on a second. But it's not a cash grab, is what I was getting at. However. Think about it. Like you were saying, Harrison Ford really wants to do this movie. It's like, okay, that's good for Harrison, but is it good for the audience? Does the audience want it? Are you literally just pearls before swine? Not that this is a pearl necessarily, but it's like, what are you trying to do here exactly?
What does he say to the one? Is it on the train or on the plane where he goes, "To the victor go the spoils"?
Yeah. Well, that's what the Nazi says to him.
Okay.
It's like, you're stealing these artifacts.
I will say, there's a few lines in Crystal Skull that are really bad, that are not the way you're sinking your teeth into those W's. I like Ike. It's just so terrible.
That was okay. I didn't mind the I like Ike. And then it's on the bomb, if you notice. Someone wrote I like Ike on the nuke.
I didn't pick up on
that. It's real quick. Real quick.
Second, yeah.
I will say, on my initial feeling, I think it fits the tone of the series. I think it's fine. I don't think it's the greatest movie ever made. I'm not going to rush out to watch it again.
I am going to see it in theaters again. Undoubtedly,
you should.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. It's going to be like in a few weeks.
I would like to say I was pleasantly surprised, but more, it's pretty much what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And okay. I mean, like Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny, I'm never going to rush back to watch.
No.
They're on.
No.
I might be like, you know what? Oh, that ant scene's coming up. Let me watch that till commercial. You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
Well, I usually end up watching all three of them at a certain point in the year, pretty much. And then I like that there's like these little epilogues that you can revisit with not the same enthusiasm, but you'll have these, I don't know, like I said, epilogue to those
Sure.
movies,
Yeah.
and that's what they kind of are.
I was surprised. I really like the Roman thing.
Should fucking have one more in there somewhere. They should have did a sixth somewhere.
I want a sextet of films.
Yeah. There's scripts out. Monkey King was a script. There's a few that got written that never got made.
I feel like I heard that one was horrid.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Asia or
Yeah, it deals with, the mythical
Go West or whatever?
Monkey King.
Journey West.
Yeah.
Right.
It's whatever. It's just, like I said, it's time to put indie to bed, and I really hope that people take inspiration from practical effects. I really, really want to see that make a comeback.
We're gonna do it, buddy.
As I said,
we're gonna save cinema.
It was in Dungeons and Dragons. There was some stuff in
Oh,
that.
I watched that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was enjoying it.
This is a little...
I was knocking back the
Yeah.
the red wine. So I remember like nothing.
Okay.
But I do remember two things I really liked. One, you said practical effects. A lot of good, like Muppet monsters
Yeah.
almost. And then immediately I was like, before I got too drunk, I was like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, cool to see that.
Not only that, the movie just starts like in media
Oh, yeah.
res.
You're in.
No fucking explanation.
You're in.
Nothing.
That was the thing that was shocking to me. I thought I would put it on and like...
I think I stood up and applauded in my apartment. I was
it's
so
got
happy
that great
about that.
fucking Chris Pine monologue. Like, how did I get here? It's funny. It's energetic. Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah.
From what I remember, I was like, that was okay.
Fuck, I wish they had made Indiana Jones. I really do. I hate to admit it because those fucking guys made Vacation with Ed Helms.
Hey, man.
But yeah,
Yeah, I go see it if you're a fan.
of course. If you're listening to this, you probably...
Or an indie fan.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
And
See what you think. Tell us what you think, because I think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be crazy divisive, but there's going to be lovers and haters.
it's gonna rest above Crystal Skull for sure.
Crystal Skull will probably find its place at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's weird to think that because Spielberg didn't direct this one. And it's
Yeah.
probably better.
If you
And
it's
the worst looking.
It's
too.
very hard to separate them like that. But as far as, again, I'm only saying Crystal Skull because there is some fondness I have for it that's pure nostalgia, because it was like, Indy's back. Like, he's back, baby. Like, he was everywhere when that movie came out. He was in cereal boxes and Dr. Pepper, and I'm not getting that with this. It's more like I said, it's like the last hurrah for a friend you've really enjoyed. You're like, all right, I'm going to see him off. Whereas Crystal Skull was like, oh, fuck, they're doing another Indiana Jones. It's cool. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to revisit it, and maybe we'll end up talking about it again on the movie catch-up in the future when I say it in a few weeks.
Yeah, sure.
But we're coming back for The Freshman,
Yes.
which is a really fun movie. I was cheating and watching clips on YouTube. I
That's
haven't
fine.
seen it in a bit, and I really want to talk about Brando a bit. I was reading some stuff about how Brando performed later in life, it's interesting.
Any Brandos you want me to check out, let me know.
Yeah, same to our listeners. If you have anything, because we were even trying to think, what can we do for our bonus stuff? And there's a lot. There's,
Well, I suggested The Score,
which
I think, did Frank Oz direct
Frank
that?
Oz directed that, which,
De Niro, Ed Norton.
and famously,
Who's the woman in that? Do you remember?
I forget. But famously, Brando refused to wear pants to confirm they weren't shooting him from below the waist because he was so big.
He was a funny guy, dude.
Yeah.
He's done some very interesting, funny things.
I was listening to...
You know, a lot of people, him and Richard Pryor,
oh, yeah.
banged.
That's apparently a thing.
Hollywood.
I was listening to a Gilbert Gottfried podcast with Robert De Niro's former assistant, and when Elia Kazan died, De Niro was like, get in touch with Brando, let's try to do something, we'll do a nice tribute. And the assistant got in touch with Brando's attorney. It was like the only way you could contact him. And he was like, yeah, Marlon says he'll do it. He wants Bob to send him a fax, but address it care of his cat. And De Niro was like, fuck that. I'm not. Fuck him. So it's like, you can't. Is he trolling there? Like, is he just being a huge asshole?
He's always been So
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about him.
Yeah.
That is funny as shit. I think too there was an SNL skit where, is it Travolta playing Brando?
It sounds familiar.
And I remember crying watching. I got to try to find that. I'll report
There's
back.
also the famous. It was like an episode in a TV series on like urban legends where, I think it did happen though. Brando, Michael Jackson, and Elizabeth Taylor were stuck in New York and 9/11 happened. They drove cross country. And they
That's the
rented a
movie
car.
we make.
Well, but so they filmed a TV episode on it or something. Brian Cox played Brando. And
okay.
Joseph Fiennes played Michael Jackson, and before it got
Oh,
released,
right. Everyone
there was
got
a
pissed
big
off
thing,
about
so
that.
it never, there, you can see
Oh,
screen
that's
grabs.
so fucking stupid. By the way, I'm going to say this too. I've said it a billion times. If you look like the thing or can be made to look like the thing, meaning person,
Yeah.
you can play it. Guess what? John Rhys Davies, not Egyptian.
Oh, it's bullshit.
Englishman.
Yeah.
But guess what? He looks a little Egyptian.
Yeah.
He's a little swarthy.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ben Kingsley. He's not Indian.
I will say this:
He played Gandhi. He did a great job.
Salah felt like Salah.
Yes.
I like when he closed the hall. When he was singing a little song as he went.
I think it was the same song.
I'm the monarch of the sea.
Yeah.
It's fun. He was having fun.
All right, John Rhys Davies.
He's great.
Come on. Regardless.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we should.
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't think there's anything that will ever come out again that will top this experience, but maybe in the future there's something we can do.
If
A
there's
little
something
post.
in our milieu,
We made it work.
something is coming out. We might not Oppenheimer, which I will probably go see, but we'll just touch on that in a movie catch up. This was a bit.
I will say this:
bit bigger
before
than-
the movie started, we saw a movie trailer that left me stunned. I had to look at you speechless, which was The Haunted Mansion.
the way they end that trailer.
That fucking nonstop babbling improv comedy, awful. It's so unfunny.
Oh, by the way, and I stopped after one episode. The first episode of the new season of Righteous Gemstones. That's all it is. It's clearly ad-libbed.
Danny.
You're a fuckface. Well, I think you're a shitbag. Well, we should all work together. Dude, I'm like, guys, write a fucking script. But yeah, that ending of that Haunted Mansion trailer,
Yeah.
it makes your skin
It's
crawl.
rough.
Whatever.
So yeah, this was great.
God, the Disney plunders their archives like Nazis in a
Disney's-
castle.
They're fucking nuts. Yeah, they just want to find that one little gem they can. There were, like you said, there were a ton of families in line for the Little Mermaid still going strong.
Yeah, I guess that's doing all right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's their only thing that's really making money for them right now is those fucking live action remakes.
They make money?
Oh yeah,
I feel like you never hear about like that. Like
that
what
fucking
was
Lion
it?
King movie.
Never
made a
heard about
fucking
that.
Shit ton of money.
I never hear
That's
about
like one
it,
of the
though.
top grossing movies of all time. It might be. It's definitely of the year.
They did a Jungle Book. You never hear about
Jungle
that.
Book was all right. They did The Lion King. They've done so many. Lady and the Tramp, Pete's Dragon. I could go on. They throw some of them on fucking. All right. Well, thanks for coming to my neck of the woods to see Dial of
Oh,
Destiny.
my pleasure.
Literal path down memory lane there because we
Indeed.
went to our childhood theater.
My old house. If I look out the window, I can
That's
see
right.
it.
We grew up across the street from each other.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I don't have to go back there ever again. It's funny how like the same it was, but also different.
True.
You know?
Yes.
The bones were still the same, but they've added a little paint and
Yeah. I noticed. You know what annoyed me? They don't put the movie names
Yes.
and times on the
Yeah.
because no one is driving by the theater.
Right.
Everyone just looks at their phone.
exactly.
I know.
We used to be a fucking society.
We used to be a proper country, my friend.
All right. Well, hopefully there won't be an Indiana Jones 6, but if there was, we'll do it again. And yeah, we're going to see you very soon for our episode on The Freshman.
Thanks for listening.